Hi guys, my name is Sam, and today I'd like to be talking about how to reduce waste by upcycling. So, when I was a little girl, I've always had a passion to sort of make things into new things that I wasn't using anymore, or maybe even broken things that I thought had no use and just belonged in the trash. I always wanted to do something out of it and make the best out of it, even though I knew it wouldn't like go back to how it originally was, like if something was broken. I always had like that sort of like mentality of like trying to make something new out of it and like being creative. Like I remember one time when I was like little, my car like broke into pieces and then I was able to like make a whole new like toy out of it, and like I was always creative, so I figured that I'd do this as my project because with all the waste that has been going around recently and there's just so much building up. So I figured this is the perfect topic for me, and I just have some quotes like reducing trash for another person, reusing trash for another purpose, and one man's trash is another man's treasure. And I've always had a passion for fashion. I know that sounds funny, but I've always loved to match clothing together, and just like appearance was always really big for me. And one of my biggest dreams is to become a seamstress and have my own designer business. And I'm really wanting to do it like a recycled fabric, so I wouldn't have to like use up so many resources and materials, and I'd love to just have my own shop one day and like have people come and buy and know that the items that they're buying have meaning to them and they're not just, there's more to it than just getting a fabric and getting a specific clothing done. And then the bottom picture is just this old kind of like jewelry box that my grandma had, and she was gonna toss it out because it was like so brittle and old on the top, and I decided to decorate it with shells and make something new out of it. And then basically, this is just like an examination of how much waste there is. And it's just crazy to me how 14 million tons of clothing are just thrown away each year. It's just insane to me. Like, fabric is like something that it doesn't really like go to like, it doesn't wear out easily. You could reuse it, you could do different things with it. You can even actually break it down to like the fabric pieces, and I've even known where they've made like new plastic out of it, and like the polyester and different kinds of fabrics, they can like break it down to like its original state and just like make shoes out of it and all these things. So it's just crazy to me how like so many people just throw away so much. And then the amount of resources that it takes to just make one pair of article of clothing, it's just insane. Like right there, I just put 1,800 gallons of water just to make one pairs of jeans. Now, if we multiply that by every single person in the world, it's just an insane amount of waste that really could be prevented by just reusing items and recycling them. And on the bottom it's just like the amount of things that it costs to produce that piece of clothing. Like it's so many resources that are being used, energy, oil, different kinds of materials use different things. Like jeans take so much more work than other materials, and just not even that, just the amount of labor that it takes to reach the final product is insane. And you have these sweatshops that people are working for minimal wage, like it's insane, like pennies a day, and working in these horrible conditions, risking their lives just for an appearance, just for to make shirts and products to just end up in the garbage trash. Like it's just crazy. And then this basically is just a slide about how the government and how society has just put in so much effort into making the society believe that they need to get the new shirt that came out, the brand new dress, and this cycle of just continuously trying to get new things, and they just end up throwing away, and it's just a never-ending cycle. And then that was just a picture of like a sweatshop that overwork these poor people that have no other choice but to work for to live. And they basically the government just wants to make money off of them. So that picture's just showing like all these things just ending up in the trash just so they could get out money, produce profit. And it's not right because we only have one earth. and we're consuming all these resources that we have just to use it up for clothing, which is not really a necessity. It is to a certain extent, but there's alternatives. There's different ways that we could do this. And it's just something that needs to be changed. And what I did for my project was I stopped shopping for new clothing. I stopped throwing away all my old clothing and decided to recycle it and only buy from recycled stores, recycled items, and just use up what I have and makes things new. Like I had this old fabric and my mom like knows how to sew and she taught me, so I made it into this dress and it just came out so nice and it was so much better than having it on my style than going somewhere and buying it brand new and having like being part of all the resources that are being put into it. Like it just felt good on my part that I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I want to change my way of living and I want to use the resources that are already out in the world, the clothing that are already there, and reuse them. And it's honestly like it feels good to know that just that one little change can actually make a difference. For example, if a group of 30 people did the same, so I stopped buying new clothing about 2 weeks ago, and over the course of a year, if I would have continued and 30 people as well would have joined me, that would have been 2,460 pounds of clothing that would have been kept out of the landfills. And that may seem like a small number to you, but if we multiply this into everyone in the whole city just stop throwing away their items, so much could be left out of the landfills. And that clothing could be reused, recycled, and it could just be so much better for the environment. And right here, I just have a couple graphs of how much is put into the landfill, and only a small percentage is actually reused, which is 8%. And that's just a small, tiny percentage of what could be so much useful if it was a larger percentage. And I also have my Instagram page there, which I haven't gotten to post anything yet because of school. But once I'm in the summertime, I will post all these articles of clothing that I got at Savers. And I'm going to start my own kind of like business and just promote so that more people could see that fashion can be reusable items. It doesn't have to be brand new things that are off the shelf. It could just be things that are older but still upcycled, for example. So I will be posting things there and just selling them, and that way it could be a fun kind of hobby for me. So I will be doing that over the summer. And my experience throughout this whole project was just really seeing how much of an impact I can make just by changing my way of life a little tiny bit, just alternating a little bit. I'm not saying that you have to never buy a new piece of clothing again, no. Just saying that if you have clothing items, don't throw them away. Just save them or donate them to shops like Savers and Goodwills, and that way they will be kept out of the landfills. They'll be kept out of the trash. They'll be kept out of the oceans. Because believe it or not, that can even go into the ocean. And these items can be recycled, and the clothing materials can be recycled, and it will just be so much better for the environment if we stopped the pollution, if we stopped just a little bit and watch how big of a difference it can make if we all came together and helped just one little cause. And these are just some alternatives about upcycling. Maybe you can grow a passion for it. You never know unless you try it. Just take a shirt and make it into a purse, or take a jean jacket and design it yourself. Do something new with it. It doesn't have to be that you convert it into something completely different. Just maybe add some personal touches and you could keep reusing it. And then those are just some stores: Goodwill, Plato's Closet, and Savers that I go to, and I'm really excited to continue on this journey. Thanks for watching.